Hi, Levi here. We're going to be taking a look at some of the more technical aspects of the parkour roll. This tutorial is not meant for the beginner, but for those who already have the basics of the parkour roll quite well, and the conditioning to support it. Now, I'm not speaking as an authority on kinesiology or biomechanics or physics, but I'd like to share what I've learned about rolls, partly through things Sebastian Foucan explained to me, indicated by, according to Seb, as well as my own insights into the mechanics of this move. Let's get started. We're actually not going to begin with the roll, but with the takeoff, or the leap. It's good to practice rolls with a lot of forward momentum. I'm serious, like broad jump out there. I know it's scarier than just plopping over the ledge, but straight drop rolls are much more difficult. Now we'll look at the impact. According to Seb, enter the landing leaning forward with your weight already in front of your feet so that you literally fall into the roll. But experiment with this, because you don't want to lean too much. Seb also explained that as we come in for the landing, we should be physically and mentally tense or prepared, but not stiff as a rock either. Ouch! Let's look at the foot placement. Once you start getting into more serious drops, you have to land with your feet parallel and square in the direction you're traveling, at a bit less than shoulder width. Instead of using your stance to get the shoulder roll across the back, it's best to use a bend at the hips. Immediately after your feet make contact, you should push against the ground, engaging your glute hamstring chain as if standing up out of a squat. Here's where things get complicated. I'd like to introduce a few concepts, the first of which I'll call reverse blocking. Blocking is a gymnastic technique used to convert forward momentum into upward momentum. Just like this ball changing trajectory. The beginning of the roll is similar to blocking, except it converts downward momentum into forward momentum, hence reverse blocking. The other concept is the recoil. Your legs shouldn't slowly lower you to the ground into the roll, but actually recoil against the ground, throwing you forward into the roll like a tight spring. If you don't believe me about the recoil effect, just take a look at David and Seb's rolls. Kinda looks like they're diving into the rolls. Yes, it's bad if you're diving up into the roll, but if you travel along the ground, it is, in fact, very effective. This is why your weight is forward before landing. On to the hands. There are generally two different but valid techniques. The first one involves one arm scooping under the opposite armpit along the ground, palm up. The other is planting both palms on the ground off-center. Often, people place the hands too close to the feet as a consequence of compressing into the roll instead of recoiling. Remember, if you're properly recoiling, your legs should almost be fully extended by the time your hands touch. Take note of the legs and how far the hands are from the feet here. As Seb teaches, the point of the roll is to disperse the impact along the ground through the roll. The more surface area it's dispersed over, the lower the average pressure. So you want your roll to take up as much distance as possible, within reason. Since my legs were extended going into the roll, when I get to my back, it's time to tuck my legs in tight. This increases my rotational speed, just like a gymnast tucking in the air or an ice skater pulling in his arms. This extra speed helps bring you back onto your feet. Let's review. Leaping forward into the roll helps a lot. Just before landing, be tense with legs extended and weight leaning forward. Land with feet square facing forward, resist against the ground. Think about reverse blocking or recoiling forward into the roll. Place hands a good distance forward and guide your shoulder to the ground. Tuck legs in for rotation and round shape. And finally, repetition. Alright, be safe out there and have fun.